Welcome back. We were talking last time. This will be like chapter second or number two, whatever. We had a problem with the timing in the last one. We were talking about the crater. This crater shows that this asteroid impact happened like 40,000, 50,000 years ago. And these people migrated from Asia into America and they started to spread themselves into this continent. And I think this is the marker that allowed these people to come here. This probably was it was heard around the planet. Who knows how this thing, it's amazing it's still on. It's still on because it's so dry in the desert there that the rain hasn't been able to erase this crater. It's an interesting place to visit. And archaeologists, they are fighting about when the Native Americans arrived. And the establishment is trying to get us into thinking that they arrived not too long ago. The implications are because legal things, the rights of the Native Americans and stuff like that. And because they were the invaders that came over. And they give him more moral ground to say that the guys just came over here just like we did. So they try to fight tooth and nail every finding that tell us that this is the date. So far, at the beginning they thought it was 5,000 years, then they push it to 10,000 years. But there have been findings of evidence of humans and here, Native Americans on this continent, for thousands. There's confirmed even by these skeptics. We talk Monteverde. Monteverde is the oldest Native American settlement town that was constructed and lived by humans in the Americas. And this is found in Chile. It is found in Chile. In the age of this settlement, it looked like the people were living there in a town, something like 15,000, 20,000 years ago. So how can a town be already with people there and then they just cross 20,000 years? Doesn't make sense. You gotta allow time for the people to migrate, to move on from one end of the continent to the other one. And so, my theory, it is 50,000 years, 40,000, give or take that much. There's evidence of some footprints they found in Arizona too, with some footprints dated to 25,000 years, and they're fighting over it, and maybe it's only 21, the naysayers. And some arrowheads just found in Idaho that tell us about the Native Americans. They're 17,000 years. So even with a low estimate, we can say they arrived here 30,000, 35,000 years ago. But they're still fighting about it, the white archaeologists are still fighting about these Europeans. Another of the interesting aspects of this continent is that it had huge animals that live here. And these newcomers had to encounter these creatures. And that's one thing that a lot of people don't talk about it, or, these animals got extinct. So I tried to compilate some images. Maybe we can see some of them here that I kind of chose to put in here. This is one of them, and this is the saber-toothed tiger. And this creature was huge. It was gigantic, and these Native Americans, the first ones, had to deal with this kind of creature. And they got extinct. They are blaming the Native Americans for extinguishing these animals. Maybe it is, maybe it's not. But what I gotta take conscience in people is the kind of world that the Native Americans found when they came. And not only that, there was probably hundreds of different creatures that are gone now. This is bones from a gigantic three-slot bear, and you can see the comparison of those bones with that person. And these kind of creatures lived here. And probably was easy for the Native American to hunt them. This is a gigantic armadillo thing. We got the mammoths. There was mammoths, but there was mammoths also in Asia, so they were chasing these animals. You got the mastodon. These are gigantic creatures, and these birds. There was like gigantic, not only one kind of birds. There was eagles, there was all kinds of gigantic birds. And these things were the eagles were the size of an airplane Cessna, so you can imagine these animals had the power to pick up a human being and just take him somewhere. But they all got extinct. We don't know how, but like I said, it could have been the Native American, probably. But we don't know for sure. And I was talking about the holy numbers, and these holy numbers relate to the latitudes and the longitudes of the world that we have now, because these latitudes, it's true that they were put there by Europeans, but they were using math, the mass of the circumference. And that kind of relates to this planet, the connections that is in the inside the planet. And the different peoples that populated this continent settled in different areas. They had different numbers. Some numbers are more easy to produce an advanced society than other numbers because they have these inner connections that connect them to other dimensions, to knowledge of the universe. And that's what happened to Mesoamerica, where you can find latitudes 90, longitudes 90, 94, and you can find other latitudes that are conducive to this, finding these things, 18. And that's why these big civilizations came in and appeared. In Peru, which is very close to 90 and 94, that goes by the ocean. They're close enough to it that some of the vibration matters fell to these people here. And throughout the world, you find that all the great civilizations, you encounter them in latitudes that are like 31, like Egypt, this line that goes toward the east. And a lot of the important rivers are in those kinds of latitudes. So there's a mystery there about the connection from the inner side of the earth and the creation of all this. Some continents don't have too many good lines, like it is Australia, and some parts of Africa, most of Africa, don't have very good numbers. So from there, the lack of creating great civilizations. I think that I'm going to cut this short because I think my time is probably so I'll see you in the next episode or talk. Thank you.